Happy New Year, everyone. I'm Kevin Barthel. It's New Year's Eve, the time for looking back and reflecting on the past year and looking forward to the possibilities of the new one. I want to share some ideas with you for setting your table for either a large gathering or a small, intimate dinner party to ring in the new year with family and friends. So let's get to work. I'm going to start with the centerpiece for our table. For the base of this centerpiece, I'm just using a disposable plastic container. You could use a cake pan, a bowl, whatever you've got laying around the house. But my measurements for the actual centerpiece are based around that container. So I just used some scrap lumber, cut it up in the garage, and we're going to build our box. I'm going to start out by getting my trusty glue gun. And gluing the first piece down onto my wooden base. Now, if you don't have access to a table saw or any kind of saw for that matter, you could always make this box out of cardboard. You could make it out of foam core. If you made it out of black foam core, which is what color we're going to be painting this, you could actually skip one of the steps. Just a bead of hot glue. It sets up really fast, so you don't have to wait for any time before you can move on to the next step, the joys of hot glue. And done. Now we can head outside and give it a quick spray of black spray paint. The black spray paint is dry, so now I'm going to use painter's tape to put a pattern onto my box. I want to leave a black center stripe around the box. So to create that, I'm going to take the painter's tape and put it all the way around the box at the bottom and the top. There are all different sizes of painter's tape, so you could create all kinds of different patterns if you wanted. So this leaves my black center, but I'm going to be spraying this box silver. So I want to leave the black part covered so it stays black. So we'll put this around my black space. Unfortunately, my tape isn't quite wide enough, so I have to do that again. And fill in the spot. There we go. So now to make this part silver, I just take off the first tape I put on. And now we'll give this a quick spray of silver spray paint. While spray painting the box, I might as well spray the other items I'm going to make for the table. I found these little frames in the discount dollar bin at the fabric store. I'm going to use them as place cards. The napkin rings were under $1, and I'm going to use the same glitter process to have them match the box. This cutout paper I found in the scrapbook section of the craft store. Now I couldn't find it in silver, so I'll just give it a light little spray. I'm going to use this paper to wrap around the votive candles. Our silver paint is dry, so now we can take off our tape to reveal our black stripe. Now the reason I wanted this stripe to be black is because I want to use black glitter and glitterify the entire stripe. If I left it silver, the silver might bleed through. This way, with the black glitter and the black background, even if my glitter isn't a perfect coating of glitter, it will all look black and solid. So to start out with our glitter, I'm going to use a paintbrush and dip it into my craft glue, and I'm just going to paint the glue on like I would paint. Now I have some ribbon trim that is going to go over the edges, so don't worry if you have a hard time with the straight lines, because it's not going to show either way. Now I'm going to take my glitter and we're going to sprinkle it on. And we're going to press the glitter into the glue. And it's nice to have your container here, so we're just going to dump the excess off into our container here. So we're just going to work our way around the entire box with the glitter. I found this fantastic glittered trim ribbon to trim out the edges of the glitter band. This is why I said you don't have to worry about if your lines aren't too straight or if it's not perfect. It's just going to be covered up anyway. So we're going to just run a bead of glue along the edge here of your glitter strip and lay the ribbon right along the edge. And you don't need a lot of glue for this. And then to finish the edge, we're just going to take our end and fold it over and tack it down with some more glue right over. Now that our box is completed, I just want to explain to you what I did with the plastic container to get it prepared for our flower arrangement. I took some Oasis foam, which is the kind of foam that absorbs water. Make sure it is that absorbent kind. I know from experience, for my sister's wedding, I got halfway through one of her flower arrangements before I realized I was using the wrong kind of foam. And everything would have died if I hadn't realized that. So make sure it's the absorbent kind of Oasis foam. And then I drilled a quick few holes into the box to take some floral wire and just kind of crisscross it across the foam and the container inside, just to hold it in place so that nothing can jiggle around. Now I want to take some water and just pour it into our container and let the floral foam soak all the water up. And make sure there's some water down in the bottom so that it continues to absorb it. Now I'm using just all white roses. You can use any kind of flowers you want, but this is what I chose to use for this particular arrangement. And I'm going to make a very low to the table arrangement, just because those huge floral arrangements are beautiful, but they're kind of inhibit conversation. And for a small, intimate dinner party, I like to have an arrangement where people can talk to each other and see each other over it. I've taken most of the leaves off the stems. And I'm just going to continue to fill in this box with the flowers until it's jammed full. Now here's a tip that I just kind of assume people know, but maybe you don't. That you want to cut your fresh flowers off at an angle, like a 45-degree angle. This helps the flower absorb the water better, so just snip it off at a 45-degree angle. Our flowers are all filled in, so to add a little extra sparkle or a little extra bit of bling to the arrangement, I got some plastic ornaments and I hot glued some floral wire into them, and I'm just going to put these into the arrangement. This is an easy way to jazz up a very inexpensive votive candle. We're going to use that cutout paper that we sprayed silver. I measured my votive candle and I just cut out a strip that will wrap around the candle. Now, you could use your hot glue gun on this, right? No, because a candle gets hot. What does hot glue do when it gets hot? It melts. So I'm going to use Topstick, which is double-sided tape. Friend to celebrities, beauty queens, bald men, and drag queens everywhere. And we're going to put it onto the paper and then stick it onto the votive candle. Wrap our paper around, peel off our paper siding of the tape, and just fold it over the tape, trim off our extra tape, and your candle is very fancy. When I'm setting a table, for me it's all about the layers. Instead of just a plain white tablecloth, I like to add to it. Now this fabric I got at the fabric store for $1.29 a yard. So I got 3 yards and made 2 big black squares. I didn't even finish off the edges. I just serged the edges. And if anybody notices that you didn't finish your edges off, you've got bigger problems. And you must cook like I do. And these are just mirrored tiles I got at the hardware store that I'm laying down the center of the table in a diamond pattern. The plastic chargers I got for $1.99 a piece at the craft store. Here are the napkin rings. I used exactly the same technique as the centerpiece to finish them. Once your frames are painted, just pick out your font and print the name of each special guest. Finish off by lighting your votives and pop open that bottle of champagne. Creating and setting an elegant table can be done inexpensively if you just use your imagination. With some glitter and paint, you can impress your guests and leave them with a sparkle in their eyes. Thanks for joining me. And from at home to your home, I'm Kevin Barthel. Happy New Year. Now I just need to find somebody to cook.